do people even go about getting initial capital? I mean,
well, nowadays you have these crowdfunding sites.
Yeah.
Right. You have crowdfunding sites that'll give you equity, right? But you have to have a sound business plan, right? You have to know what you're doing, right? You can't just start a business and not know what you're doing. I always say, hey, if you're out there working for Verizon Wireless or T-Mobile or AT&T and you're working at a store and you know how they order the phones, you know what the margins are, well, why not open your own store? Why not contact these guys and say, hey, I want to open my own store? And I promise you, if you show someone who has money that you want them to invest in you, and they know you've been working at a cell phone store for 10 years, I promise you, they're going to invest because you know what the heck you're doing. Now, if you come to me and you've never worked in a cell phone store and you said, oh, I'm going to start opening a cell phone store, now I'm good. Because I know you don't know what you're doing. And so in starting a business, the focus is minimizing risks. So if you have a certain amount of money, Tom, and you know that certain amount of money is only going to last you a certain period of time, okay, that period of time can be extended if you know what you're doing because it minimizes the risk. If you don't know what you're doing and you have that certain amount of money can run out sooner than later because of the errors that you made, and errors cost money and they cost time. So if you make an error which costs more time, that time ends up costing you more money, you need more money, and most of the time you fail. So make sure you know what you're doing. You don't need to know LLCs. You don't need to know inks and structures and this and all that other stuff. That comes later. Just know whatever service you're going to provide that you're good at.
Right. We always talk about it. We've been talking about it. Instagram gurus saying, buy my course, and then you could do drop shipping, or you're going to be a millionaire within this amount of time. You always go back to, you need to know what you're doing. Don't go into a business that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what are some tools and resources that you kind of used? Was it just your experience, or how did you just take the plunge of like, I know what I'm doing, but it's hard to start a business, the LLCs and stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But like, you had to come up with what to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also have to be willing to learn things that you don't know.
Right.
Right. So I knew how to create a securities product. I knew how to do that. I was doing that for 14 years. I knew how to do it.
Which is very difficult,
right.
by the way.
Yeah. And I learned a lot. And I knew the right people to call to do that. But I didn't know anything about Google AdWords.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about a website. I didn't know anything about a CRM system, and when I talk about a website, I'm not talking about just a landing page. I'm talking about a functional platform that you can go in, view products, download things. I had no clue what I was doing, but I took the time because the money that I raised, the $500,000, I only had two people. It was me and Wade.
Got it.
Right. That's all I had to pay for was me and Wade. And I make sure I had a tiny little office space, just a tiny little, it fit like three people.
Something to put on business cards and stuff.
Right? Because I didn't want people Googling my home.
Address.
Oh, you can't do that. You had to have them Google a building, right? Yeah. So I had enough money just to do a little office space, right? And then, because my costs were so low and my lifestyle, I didn't increase my lifestyle. I kept it the same. I had the money to take the time to learn all these things. So then I learned how to do Google AdWords and pay-per-click. I learned how to do that. I learned how to create a back-end platform, skeleton model, right? You do the skeleton and then you add the meat to. I learned how to do all that. No one taught me that stuff, but I was willing to learn how to do it and take the time to do it. So as long as the service you're providing, you're an expert in, everything else you can learn. Right? Because when you finish learning all the things that you didn't know, at the end of the day, it's the service that's going to make you the money, not the education of all these other things to provide the service.